Hey guys, how's it going? My cool cat and kittens? Yeah, okay, so, sorry for the delay of getting these videos uploaded. My internet was down this morning, and I fixed it, so I'm pretty proud. My stepdad is losing his mind because he loves watching YouTube, whatever. And, I'm also feeling really well. I don't know, I think I'm just tired. I don't know what it is. Anyways, we're gonna get on with the note. Before I do, guys, just a couple things. Those of you who've already done your quiz or this little assignment, thank you. I did have a mistake, and I noticed that after, so I redid it. So the first one that I listed for 6, 7, and 8 doesn't go towards your mark. Okay, I made it so it won't affect your mark. So if you did really, really bad, no worries. If you did really, really good, I'm sorry. But what happened is I reposted it, and it's the exact same questions. Okay, except for the one that I messed up on, I took that one out. So now it's out of 8. So if you do the other one as an example or a practice, and then you can go into the new one, it says 4 marks on it, okay? So it's obvious about which one it is. And it says 4 marks, so complete it. Some of you have, which is great. I'm super happy to see. Some of you haven't. It's a lot of people are still waiting on marks. But also know too, guys, you can do it more than once. Like, I have it set up, and it shouldn't be a problem. And if it is, please just let me know, because from my understanding, from the teacher's point of view, you guys should be fine with respect to doing it again. Okay, I'm looking at a couple of the marks and they're failures, which, you know, what happens. Like, I get you're still doing it, but please just try it again, okay? Because this is, you know, a great opportunity. This is stuff that you're going to be doing in grade 11. So it's really important to have it. So, yeah, okay? So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I am here for you. If you want me to, we can do a Google Meets video, or we can communicate somehow that isn't just via Edsby message or anything like that. I know it's very stressful, it's very difficult, but I am here for you guys, okay? Even if you just need someone to talk to too, okay? Besides that, I do hope you guys are doing well overall. And yeah, hopefully this crisis will end soon. Anyways, I'm going to get started with the new note. So I'm going to be doing a lot of back and forth with stuff. I am posting this note. This factor sheet I am going to be posting as well. Actually, I can't recall if I already posted it or not. I don't see it. Just kidding. Yes, I do. So this is going to help you a lot, and I honestly recommend you guys print this out and keep it for grade 11. Okay? And then what I'm also going to post is this. So I'm going to go through it in a bit, but this is a lifesaver. Usually I don't use this with respect to factoring, but given the circumstances, it's kind of it's just going to help. Okay? So factoring simple trinomials. So we have been dealing with 2 brackets, and you guys had to learn how to expand it, right? So we would take these and we'd expand it, so we would get 3 terms. Well, what's that process called to expand it? We would use FOIL, right? We'd use our first terms, and then our 2 outside terms, our 2 inside terms, and then our last terms. So let's expand it. So we're going to do x times x, which is x squared. We're going to do x times 2, which is 2x. We're going to do 3 times x, which is 3x. And these are all positive because there's no sign telling us differently. And 3 times 2, which is 6. What do I do next? Well, I have to collect like terms. X squared plus 5x plus 6. And that's my expanded form. Awesome. Cool. And if you guys did that without me or doing it before me, that's fantastic, okay? So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to actually take this form here, the expanded form, and we're going to put it into factored form. Yeah, we're going backwards. Okay. So an equation like this, we're going to have to be able to graph it. Now, you're like, oh my gosh, how on earth do we graph that? Well, if we were to just put it in decimals, we're going to do y equals, because that's how we need to start. For it to be a function, it needs to commute with something else. Don't worry about that. So it's going to be x squared plus 5x plus 6. That's exactly what we just found out. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. Now, with respect to reading it, we don't necessarily need to know right now, but I'm going to give you a little overview. The 6, the plus 6 at the end there, look at this. This is a characteristic you need to know. I'm going to go through that more. We won't be getting into that till next week, but maybe if you want to write it as a side note. Something else to take into consideration. See this x-intercept? We did the y-intercept. Look at the x-intercepts. There's 2 of them. -2 and -3. Look at this. X is equal to 2, or x plus 2, x plus 3. If we take those out of the bracket, it'd be x minus 3, x minus 2. Fancy dancy, I know. Okay, so again, if you're like, what did you just say? It's okay. I'll go through it more later. Okay, so simple trinomial factoring. So what we need to do is we need to look at each of these terms and label them. So we always want our x squared first. Okay? So we're going to list that first, and that's going to be our a value. We want just the plain x second, and that's our b. And then just the number last, which is our c. We need to have it in that order, because if we don't, it's going to be super difficult to factor. So x squared, and then x, and then the number. Okay? This is called standard form. So, if you don't have it in standard form, as I said, it's going to be super duper difficult to factor. Actually, almost near impossible. So, kind of, yeah. Okay, so make sure you just have it in that form. We're going to have the x squared value first, the 5, or the x value, and then the number. So, as you can see, we have ax squared listed first, ax squared. So, what you guys need to remember is if there's no number there, it's technically a 1. So in this case, a is 1. Okay? So then we have bx, which is here. Well, what does my b value equal? In this example that I have listed above, it's 5. Okay, this would be my b value. And then my last one, let's do like an orangey color. We have our C. Well, that means what's our C value? It would be 6. Okay? So this is something that you guys are going to have to start doing. So what we need to do is we have to find 2 numbers that add to the B term and multiply to the C term. Okay, I'm actually going to use this example we have above here right now, just for you guys to see it, because we know what the answer is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through it with you guys, and then obviously I'm going to go through the rest of these examples. No. And then you guys get lots and lots of practice. So, find 2 numbers that add to B. So, with respect to adding, there's way more numbers that you can add together than you can multiply together. So, what you do first is you find this, the multiply to C. Okay? So, find 2 numbers that multiply to C. So, our C is equal to 6, as you can see right there. Get it? Haha. So what are my terms? Well, if we go to this and we find our 6, we see it's 1 by 6 and 2 by 3. So it's 1 and 6, 2 and 3. So we found all the numbers that multiply to C. So we're actually kind of working backwards. So our next step is to find two numbers that add. So it has to be one of these two sets of numbers. So it adds to B. Well, let's look at that. Well, our B is 5. So 1 plus 6 is equal to 7. So it's not these two numbers. 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. So we know the two numbers we're dealing with are 2 and 3. So what we do, we put these as brackets. So please watch as I do this. We're dealing with the letter X, so it's going to be X and 2, X and 3. Now what we need to do is we need to put in the signs. Okay? This one's really easy because they're both positive, but I'm going to show you how to use that chart. So, if we go to this, and I go like this, and I go over here, we have our standard form, which is up here. I don't know if I can write on this or not. I should be able to. Okay. So as you can see, here's our standard form right here, right? So we have it all set up, and we're going to be looking at the original question. So it says, is the B term positive or negative? Well, in this case, our B term, as you can see, is positive, right? Because it's always the sign in front of the number. So I'm going to go back to here. Our B term is positive. So I'm going to go this way. So this is saying the bigger multiple is positive. The bigger multiple or the bigger number. So we know if I go back to this, the bigger number of these two is 3. So my 3 is positive. Now we have to go back. Is the C term positive or negative? Well, if you look here, 6 is positive. Okay, so that's also positive. So I'm going to go this way. Both terms are positive. So your final answer should look something like this. Okay? So that means both of these numbers are positive. So that's your final answer. I really hope that made sense because you're going to be doing this about 1,000,000 times. Well, those of you who actually do their homework, really, I should say. Okay, so let's do another example. We're going to do this so many times. It's not even funny. Okay, factor the following simple trinomial. So, two numbers that add to B, 3, and two numbers that multiply to C, which is 18. Don't worry about the signs right now. All we care right now is the numbers, and then we'll use the chart to figure out the signs. Okay? So, again, we're going to start with the C because more numbers add to 3 than multiply to 18. So I'm going to go to my factor sheet. I'm going to erase all that because we're done with that one. I'll go to cancel over here. Okay, 18, what are our factors? We have 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. So opposed to you guys having to figure that out by yourself, I gave you that factor sheet, so that should help. So we have 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. How did I know that? We just found it from the factor sheet. Okay, so these are what multiplies to 18, right? Now we need a number that adds to 3. Okay, well, let's go through all these. So as I said, these narrow it down. We just now need to figure out what adds to 3. Okay? So 1 plus 18 is 19. 2 plus 9 is 11. 3 plus 6 is 9. Well, none of these add to 3. Right? So I lied to you. We do need to use our symbols. I apologize. I know I'm the worst. Ugh, I was hoping we could figure it out without it. That's okay. So, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. We're okay. Don't worry. Don't be all pissy. We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay. So, multiplies to C. We have negative 18. I was hoping this would work without it, but it didn't. Adds to B, negative 3. And you're going to see why in a sec. So, remember, because it's negative 18, when we look at our terms, a positive times a negative is a negative, right? So positive times a negative is a negative. Okay. So that means when we go through our multiples, we need a positive and a negative. So we have to do this twice. So again, let's set it up. We have negative 18. And we know we have 1 and 18. 2 and 9. You see how I'm spacing those out? And 3 and 6. So, 1 has to be positive, 1 has to be negative. So if we do the negative 1 as a negative, we can leave the 18 as a positive. But what's the other way of writing this? Positive 1, negative 18. Right? Because they both give you negative 18. So let's do it again. Negative 2 times 9, or 2 times negative 9. And then 3 times negative 6. Sorry, negative 3 times positive 6. Or 3 times negative 6. So, now we have to add these together. So, multiply to negative 18, we did that. Now let's do adds to negative 3. So you're going to have to get your calculator out for this. We're going to add all these guys up and figure out which one gives us negative 3. So those of you who are really strong with your multiplication skills and your adding skills and so on, this part will come really easy to you. Okay, right away, some of you guys can probably figure out which one it is. Some of you can't, so let's just go through it. So negative 1 plus 18 is 17. So we know that's not our answer. 1 plus negative 18 is negative 17. Okay, that's not our answer. Negative 2 plus 9 is positive 7. Well, what do we need again? We need negative 3, so that's not our answer. 2 plus negative 9 is negative 7. Well, we need positive 3, so that's not our answer. Negative 3 plus 6 is positive 3. Well, we need negative 3, so that's not our answer. Hopefully process of elimination works. 3 plus negative 6 is negative 3. If you guys are like, Miss, there's a sign. 2 signs together. That's actually 3 minus 6. Well, yeah, you're right. Okay, it's the same thing. So that means our numbers are positive 3 and negative 6. So we're actually going to just throw that into our brackets. So we're dealing with x again. X plus 3, x minus 6. Okay, so that's why that didn't work for us, because before, because if we were just adding them to get to positive 3, the numbers wouldn't have worked, right? So that's our answer. That's it. That's done. So if we go through the chart, which we don't need to because we have the signs, we know that our chart was, it was x squared minus 3x minus 18. So our B and our C were negative. I'm just going to rewrite that for you guys so you remember what it is. Oops. So it was y is equal to x squared minus 3x minus 18. So what was my B term? Now again, this is just double checking. Our B term was negative 3, so it's negative. So I got to go this way. That means the bigger multiple is negative. That means the bigger number is negative. Okay, we know our answer was 3 and 6. So it's negative. Okay, and then let's look. Is the C term positive or negative? Well, it's negative. So we go this way. And it says the bigger term is negative, which we've already stated right there. And the smaller term is positive. And that's what we figured out our answer to be. Okay? Okay, let's do it again. So it's another way for you guys to check your answers. But yeah. The reason I was really trying to avoid that is so you guys didn't have to go through all the negatives and stuff too, but yeah. Oh, well, my plan didn't work. Oh, well, live and learn, right? So, factor the simple trinomial. So two numbers that add to B. What's B? Positive 11. What's C? Positive 24. Okay, so we got to start with multiplies to C. Oh my gosh, my nose is itchy. So, what are my multiples of 4? You can get out your factor sheet. Oops. Let's go to 24. What do we got? 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. So there's 4 of them. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Okay. Don't forget, a negative times a negative is also a positive, right? And then a positive times a positive is equal to a positive. So, we need to write in our negative terms too. Negative 1, negative 24, negative 2, negative 12, negative 3, negative 8, negative 4, and negative 6. So, I'm going to do it this way. So now we're going to do this. What adds to B? So adds to positive 11. So I need to add all these guys up. So 1 plus 24. Again, some of you will need a calculator, which is perfectly fine. That's 25. Negative 1 plus negative 24 is negative 25. We know that those are not our numbers. 2 plus 12 is 14. Negative 2 plus negative 12 is negative 14. Okay, guys, I'm crossing these out because they're not our numbers. 3 plus 8 is 11. Isn't that what we need? Yeah. Okay, found my numbers. I'm not even going to do the rest. So, both 3 and 8 are positive. So that means my final answer is x plus 3, x plus 8. Again, you can go through the chart to double check. Or another way you can do is you can expand these numbers. So, to see if it goes back to our original question. So, if you watch, I'm going to expand it. X times x is x squared. X times 8 is 8x. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times 8 is 24. Add our like terms. What do we get? Our original question. So another way for you guys to figure out. Okay. Okay. Going on to the next example. So, factor the simple trinomial. We need 2 numbers that multiply to negative 36. So, terms for negative 36. Okay, remember it's negative. When we multiply 2 numbers together, how do we get a negative? So a positive times a negative is equal to a negative, and a negative times a positive is equal to a negative. Okay? So we need all the values, all the factors, or all the terms for negative 36. We need to write them twice. So let's go to our chart. Look at all these numbers. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's 5 of them. That means we have to write out 10 things. Okay, so it's negative, so 1 has to be positive, 1 has to be negative, right? Negative 1 and 36, 1 and negative 36. Negative 2 and 18, am I correct? Sometimes I forget. Yep. Positive 2, negative 18. We got 3 and 12. Sorry, I'll keep the pattern going. Negative 3 and 12. 3 and negative 12. What else we got? We got 4 and 9. Negative 4 and 9. Positive 4, negative 9. And then we've got 6 and 6. Or 6 and negative 6. Okay. Now we have to add all these guys together. Yeah, as you can see, there's going to be double signs. Ooh. So some of you right away will be able to recognize what our final answer is going to be, because we need to find negative 5, right? So if you guys can do it right away, good for you. If not, let's go through the list. Negative 1 plus 36 is 35. I'm going to go zoom just so it looks clearer. 1 plus negative 36 is negative 35. Again, guys, these aren't our answers. We need to keep going. Negative 2 plus 18 is 16. Nope. 2 plus negative 18 is negative 16. Nope. Negative 3 plus 12 is 9. Nope. Guess what this answer is? It's negative 9. I don't know if you guys noticed that pattern yet. Okay. Negative 4 plus 9 is positive 5. We're close. That means 4 plus negative 9 is negative 5. And I'm not even going to bother. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. I'm not even going to bother with the next two because we found our answer A and B, these equal to 0. because it is a perfect square, but we're not getting into that. So here are our numbers, positive 4 and negative 9. So yep, that easy. That's my answer. That's all I have to do. Okay. Factor each trinomial and check one by expanding. That means you just go through it again. Okay, so I'll do these ones with you guys, and then your homework, there's lots and lots and lots of practice questions, so just take your time with them, okay? So factor each trinomial and check one by expanding. So I need numbers that multiply to 36. Multiply to 36. I know I'm writing it a little bit differently. Remember, it's a positive and a positive. Or sorry, my final answer is a positive, so a positive times a positive is equal to a positive, and a negative times a negative is equal to a positive. Okay, so I need 2 positive numbers and 2 negative numbers. That's a little confusing. So we need to go through all of them. So it's going to be 1 and 36, negative 1, negative 36. We're going to have 2 and 18, negative 2, negative 18. 3 and 12, negative 3, negative 12. 4 and 9, negative 4, negative 9. 6 and 6, negative 6, positive 6. Oh, I lied to you. Negative 6. Again, just go to your factor sheet. They're all right there. So let's start adding them up. Some of you might be able to recognize it right away of which one this is. Okay, what adds to 12? Plus, plus, plus. Okay, if you guys can recognize that right away, really, really good. If not, no worries. 1 and 36 is 37. That's not 12. Negative 36 and negative 1. Negative 37. That's not 12. 2 and 18 is 19. I lied to you. It's 20. That's not 12. Negative 20. That's not 12. 12, 13, 14, 15. That's not 12. Negative 15, that's not 12. 4 and 9 is 13. That's not 12. Negative 13, that's not 12. 6 and 6 is 12. Beauty. It'd be nice if it was one of the numbers at the top, eh? Again, if you guys can recognize this from the beginning, do it. What's my final answer? That's it. Okay, let's do another one. Okay. So 2 numbers that multiply to negative 22. Remember, for a negative, we need a positive times a negative, and a negative times a positive. Okay? Oh, I hate when that happens. There. So, let's go to our factor sheet. I don't think there's many multiples of 22, I'll tell you that much. Again, if you don't even need the fact sheet, beauty. Look, 1 and 22, 2 and 11. That's it. So, again, we have to double it. So, 1 and negative 22, negative 1 and positive 22. Again, if you guys are asking, why do we have to write them twice? Like I just said, it's because of this. There are 2 possible ways for us to get a negative value, and we're looking for negative 22. So we have to take both into consideration. We've got 2 and negative 11, and negative 2 and positive 11. Okay, 2 numbers that add to 9. Well, 1 plus negative 22. 1 plus negative 22 is negative 21. Well, that's not 9. Negative 1 plus 22 is 21. Well, that's not 9. 2 plus negative 11 is negative 9. Well, that's not 9 because we need positive 9. Negative 2 plus 11 is positive 9. That's our answer. One more. Okay. 2 numbers that multiply to negative 32. Okay, let's get out our factor sheet. 1 and 32, 2, 16, 4, and 8. So again, how do we get a negative? Positive times a negative is a negative, and a negative times a positive gives us a negative. So again, that's why we have to go through this twice so we can find out what our 2 numbers are to get us negative 4. So 1 times negative 32, negative 1, and positive 32. I've got 2 and 16, negative 16. Negative 2, positive 16. Right? Where's my 32? Yeah, right there. And then 4 and 8. 4, negative 8, negative 4, and positive 8. Alrighty. So, we've got all that listed through. Okay, so 2 numbers that add to negative 4. Sorry, that looks like an ugly 4. Okay, 1 and negative 32. Well, that's negative 31. Nope. Negative 1 and 32 is positive 31. Nope. 2 and negative 16. 2 plus negative 16 is negative 14. Nope. Negative 2 plus 16 is positive 14. Nope. 4 plus negative 8, negative 4. Voila. Those are 2 numbers. X plus 4, x minus 8. Remember, it's positive 4 because there's no symbol there. And again, you can use the chart to check your answers, and you can expand it to check your answers. But yeah, so that is a lot, guys. I get it. But do practice. I know for your homework questions, it's one of those like riddle thingies. Discard changes. I'm going to go back to this. Maybe that's not what I wanted. So it's this, okay? So it says, when is the wrestler king of the ring? So if you see number 1, you could see number 1. I'm trying to... Here, let's go like that. Okay, so this is a lot. I get it. Some of them are big numbers, but it's really good practice. So 1, whatever the letter matches up here is going to go there. So to factor this one, I need 2 numbers that multiply to 5 and add... Sorry, let's do this so it doesn't look like a subtraction sign. Multiply to 5, but add to 6. Well, I know 5 times 1 is equal to 5, and 5 plus 1 is equal to 6. So it's going to be 5 and 1. So it's going to be x plus 5, x plus 1. So I'm going to go through all of these answers to find... Actually, no, these go together. So x plus 5, x plus 1. Here it is. It's w. W goes in there. If I had put x plus 1, x plus 5, that's okay. Okay, the order doesn't matter with respect to that. It's just the signs that matter. So again, guys, I will be going live tomorrow at noon. I will be here this time. I know that meeting went long last time. And guys, this takes practice, okay?